In this little video, we're going to explore Des Moines, Iowa. I hope you enjoy. Welcome. And here I have a little share that was provided by Peter Gibbons. He says, "John, have a little look, very telling." And this is a picture gallery of the supposed construction of the Des Moines state capital. And I thank you for this share. An excellent showcase of construction photos in the late and early 1900s. And the Des Moines Capitol was constructed between 1871 and 1886, about 15 years, and is the only five-domed capital in the country. And we have glimpsed at this wonder in the past, the beautiful inside of the dome. And today I've just been thinking about the old Mudflood channel, an excellent channel who I think brought a lot of clarity to this subject, a lot of reason. And the videos towards the end, he was mentioning questions that we should be asking. One that I remember was, where do we come from? Why are we here? And where are we going? Very simple but important questions to constantly ask ourselves. And another aspect of journalism, for example, and I don't consider myself a journalist. If anything, I'm an explorer, and through my explorations, I research. But when looking at the bigger picture and sharing it, being the mark of a journalist, we would ask 5 questions, and sometimes 6, and I think the 6th is important. And when dealing with any particular subject, we would ask first who, then what, when, where, why, and how. And I plan on doing an upcoming video trying to answer these 6 questions as best I can at this point in our understanding of this bigger picture. But anyway, back to this Des Moines Capitol grounds in 1939. Here we have a serious crew, and the Capitol already built, and just looking amazing for this time period. And the work that they're doing seems to be going very slow and rather poor craftsmanship when we see the fitting of these stones, not seeming like the master builders who'd constructed this in the background. And this was a really nice one in 1948, type of aerial photo, and a little monument off to the side here. And here in 1913, and this picture very telling. This capital is supposed to have been built earlier than this time period, and yet we can see what the modern inhabitants are throwing up all around it. Wooden, shack-like, and really, I mean, this looks like my house. But nevertheless, a seeming to move backwards as far as their abilities. If you had builders with these abilities, you would see something similar surrounding it. But no, now we move straight into the abilities of the inheritors of this previous civilization. And here, one of the oldest photos, shown in 1884 during construction. And here again, seeing the cheap inheritors structures. And 1884, let's have a little peek again. This was constructed in 1871 to 1886. 1871 to 1876. And here we see 1884. So really, I mean, if you've ever either been on or constructed something that's to be permanent, like a building or a home, what immediately happens is a clearing of the area. And here what we can see is trees right up to the edge of the building and some little makeshift shacks, and really not seeming like a new construction at all. And we see serious signs of weathering, like on this corner, and seeming like a fire. Here it looks like a fire blew out these windows, and we see serious scorching all in this area. And here appearing to still have maybe 3 windows in place, I'm not sure. But clearly the fire blowing out of here, scorching the top, as we can see. And also a lot of fire damage on this side. So this is supposed to be brand new construction, and it looks like, you know, as usual, we've just had the sky whited out and a little post. This is enough to satisfy most in their search for construction photos. But as we can see, this does not look brand new. I mean, this should be brand spanking new. Very telling. And here, they're telling us is the beginning of the construction phase in the late 1800s. So here's our crew ready to go. And really just looking like they're digging out mud and revealing some older works. We see a lot of really sharp right angles that look like concrete or stone. And then we see their means. Here we go. This guy shoveling into this rather small wagon. And here some of these massive blocks behind them. This guy's sitting on one, seeming far beyond their abilities. There's no way you could even move one of these blocks with this horse or this little wagon. No way. These are left over from the previous civilization. No means for these people to quarry, cut, or move stone. Not with this crew, nor these horses, or this primitive means of machinery being horsepower. And a lot of stone in this area. And this is simply supposed to be the construction of the state capitol, beginning in this photo. And here, 1927. And what do we see? We see train tracks here, cheap little wooden picket fence, glorious monument, which is seen in all the older photos. It's like they just threw this up on the side. They had time to build a capitol and a monument. And just a beauty with its golden top. And here a little aerial photo in 1940. And we can see the primitive buildings that they've thrown up, made of wood. And really, I mean, just a really junky surrounding, as if most everything is just starting out, and this beauty has just sat here, undisturbed but weathered as could be. Again, we can see the little monument off on the side here, and here a group of men cleaning a chandelier, a little more polishing of the ornamentation. Looks like something has been removed here and here. and a group of thugs in 1898. The mayor, seen in the front row center, and very suspicious characters. Clearly these men must know the truth in 1898, must be absolutely certain of this lie that will be propagated, and know very well that they did not construct this building that they stand in front of. Very suspicious people, and very interesting photo. And here, always amazing me, the level of childishness seen with these inheritors. The inheritor being very similar to a spoiled brat. And here we're going to drive the car up the steps of the Capitol. Why not? 1914. And just to give you a feel for the sheer size of this building, here's some people on the railing next to the columns. And mind you, these columns are not even ground level columns. These things would have to have been hoisted up here. And again, think back to this photo and the means that they had in this time period. Completely unrealistic and pretty ridiculous. And here landing a helicopter, and we get a nice look at some of the detail and ornamentation on this building. And this photo was really interesting in 1938, looking very manipulated, seeming to have been cut out, as we can see these very unnatural shadows on the domes. A lot of darkness. I'm not sure. Looks like somebody has drawn on this. Very strange. And here in 1936, the west entrance of the state capitol. And even in 1938, just seeming unkept, unneeded, certainly unneeded. The landscape overgrown and just looking weathered as could be. And what caught my attention about this picture was these cannons, and not seeming like they were originally here, just seeming very odd to have some cannons on the steps. And of course I don't believe that cannons were even what they tell us, but perhaps in this instance somebody had placed them here to defend their inheritance. And we see this larger one here, and actually a small one right here. Very interesting. And again, some cars just parked up here. This is 1938. 1936. And very strange. And very telling. And here, a little look at the tunnel under the state capitol. So really fascinating. I mean, when we look at this old construction crew, well, here we go. This is even more amazing. So, if they're just beginning this construction, it's to say that in this 15-year period it took to construct this, they had already completed this tunnel, this concrete, or I don't know, perhaps blocks that have been stuccoed over. Not sure, but nevertheless, these people started out with a grand tunnel. And without getting too deep, I believe that this tunnel connected to buildings across the street, if I am remembering correctly in past research. And quite a bit of records down here, but really seeming like an afterthought. To imagine you're going to build a glorious building like this, and this was your plan for your records. I mean, this is the whole function of this building. And here we go. This is how important it was to these people. And who knows? Could these be from a past civilization and they were brought down here before they burned them? Or brought them to the Smithsonian Institute? Here a little look in 1940. Still unnecessary in this time period, clearly shown in this picture. And that's it. I think I've gone a little longer than I wanted to, but a fascinating exploration that I'd been wanting to dive into for quite a while. Still so much more we could touch on, but for today, I think that's it. I thank you so much for joining me. Do have a blessed day, and please like, comment, and subscribe.